Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is me, your old pal Orpheus, with another edition of the Madness and Mayhem podcast. We're going to be doing a little bit of a mental health one today, where we're going to be talking about some issues and some things in life that all of you deal with, and not everybody gets a chance to go ahead and talk about. So that's what I like to do occasionally on these, podcasts, is just kind of sit down, kind of chill out in our lodge here and kind of just talk about life. So anyway, before we get started, I wanted to say that I am not any sort of licensed mental health professional. I've never been, licensed for anything in terms of mental health or psychology or psychiatry. I'm not a counselor or anything like that. I'm just someone who has spent my life dealing with issues. And I think that that's something that a lot of us can relate to. And because of that, I think that I can relate pretty strongly to some of the issues that you might be having, or your friends or your family might be having. So I just wanted to say that before we begin. Anything that I say here shouldn't be taken as medical advice or psychological advice, just a little bit of insight. How about that? Okay. So what I want to talk about today is we are all facing a lot of challenges in life right now. Each of us has to deal with just so many things, whether it's stress from our jobs and our lives, what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot of scary stuff out there. You never know what's going to hit. We always have this thing called doom scrolling, right? Where you go through and you look through X or your TikTok or something, and you look for things that are kind of scary and like, climate change is going to destroy all of Earth. We're right on the brink of the jet streams changing and pushing all of the trade winds the wrong ways and reversing the Earth poles, and the polar ice caps are melting, and all the whales are, off to Greenland or whatever. Right? And we're all faced with the idea that life is so fragile and things are so tenuous and tense right now that anything could go wrong at any time. Right? Life is really, really tough these days, with whether it's the economy and you're having to worry about, bills and paying your rent and your mortgage and your car payment or whatever, whether it's personal relationships and you're having to deal with the BS sometimes it comes with choosing the wrong partner, or you're having trouble with your partner or something and they are the right person, that happens too. Whether you're lonely because, man, I understand it can be so tough sometimes to sit and be alone. Loneliness is actually something that is being studied right now, and they're finding out that as people age, you get more lonely. You're more, prone to getting lonely as you go along. And that's why there's so many social programs for people that are older. You see, like, in a retirement community, they got stuff going the entire day. There's more stuff going on at retirement communities than there are on cruise ships, folks. And they have directors of entertainment and music and crafts and going out on field trips and stuff like that. And, the reason is that we're all very prone to loneliness. We're all very prone to stress. And, right now, prescriptions for antidepressants and for anti-anxiety are at an all-time high. I mean, everyone's getting diagnosed with depression and with anxiety and PTSD. And, when the coronavirus hit, oh my God, everything just went completely crazy. And we're all shutting our homes, worrying about if we're going to have enough toilet paper and everything, right? Bidet sales. Man, some of those companies that were making bidets probably suddenly were like, why is all the inventory flying out the door? Anyway. Oh boy. Anyway, I digress. But my point today is that life is very, very tough. Okay? I understand that. And people around you may not, but I definitely do. I understand that life can be very tough, and it is very tough. But my message today is very simple, very short, and very sweet. You are also very tough. Okay? Whether or not you realize it, you have made it all of these years to where you are today. You have made it to where you are today because you are so tough. Okay? You're stronger than you realize. When you go into the military, one of the things that you kind of discover pretty quickly is you have a physical limit. Okay, you have a physical and a mental limit. And that's something that you live with every single day. It's like, think of it on a scale. You have about as much stress as you can deal with. That's on a scale, and it goes, up and down a little bit. Oh, there's too much. But you have this limit up here, right? And so that limit, when you get pushed towards it and towards it and towards it, you get this thing where you're like, right? And you just kind of lose it. Well, in the military, you learn very quickly that limit that you have, you can go right past it. No problem, right? They break you physically, they break you mentally in order to show you that you can be pushed beyond that limit and become more than you are, okay? Life is kind of like that. You think that you have certain limits that you can't get to, right? Oh, I can't deal with anything more. When you get to a certain point in your day where everything basically has gone wrong, you woke up and your hair was all messed up and you couldn't fix it. You hit every single red light on the way to work. Your boss has been a dick all day. Your friend dissed you for going out to dinner and a movie later on. Your internet went out when you got home and you couldn't go play World of Warcraft or something, so you sit there and you have to just kind of grumble at yourself. Maybe, I don't know, the food that you got for dinner was cold from DoorDash or something, right? When you have gotten to that point where you're like, I just can't anymore. There's no more dealing with bullshit anymore, right? You think that that's your limit. But what if something else happens and pushes you beyond that? Everyone uses the fantasy, I guess, of the zombie apocalypse. One of the things that I've been watching a lot lately on YouTube for some reason is the EAS simulations, the emergency action systems. That really scary tone that'll cut in on the radio stations or your TV, and it's the National Weather Service or the civil authorities or something telling you. I've been watching those lately. And if you think that you have a level of stress and a level of dealing with something, your little window of, tolerance for life, if something like that happens and suddenly pushes you beyond that, you are so much tougher than you think. If it was a zombie apocalypse, right? And suddenly everything in the world is completely screwed, right? You would be able to survive. Whether you think so or not, it would take dumb luck for you not to survive. And you're saying, Orpheus, what are you talking about? I'm short, I'm fat, I'm old, I'm young, I'm stupid, No, you're not. Okay, first of all, stop it. Your limitations are defined by you. You might have physical limitations. You might have mental limitations. You might have both physical and mental limitations. Emotional. You might have PTSD or autism or brain damage like me. But it doesn't mean that you are incapable of surviving. You know why? Because you've survived up to this point. Think about that for a second. Think about how you made it to the point where you are, and you survived long enough to even question yourself and say, God, life is so tough, I don't know what I'm going to do. You survive. You're just as tough as life is, and when life gets more tough, you do too. When life relaxes, you do too. You give yourself the right to relax when things are going calm. Why not give yourself the right to be tougher when you need to? That's the message I want to leave you with today. Life might be tough, but so are you. We'll see you in the next one here on Orpheus Plays, on the Madness and Mayhem podcast. Do well, be well, and treat yourself well, because you know what? You deserve it. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.